smoke still lingered over the valley when Marcus Chen stood before the blackened remains of his farm. His right sleeve hung empty, pinned at the shoulder, a souvenir from the Proxima War that had stolen more than just his arm. The fields that had fed 3 neighboring settlements were now ash. The barn his grandfather built gone. Even the old oak by the creek had been reduced to a charred skeleton. "Damn raiders," he muttered, kicking at the debris with his boot. The colony on Kepler 442b had promised veterans like him a fresh start, land to call their own, a chance to build something real. For 3 years, Marcus had done exactly that. Until last night, when the Vorthon raiders descended from the hills, torches in hand, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. He had 2 choices: leave Kepler 442b with nothing, or find a way to rebuild. But rebuilding required capital he didn't have, and the Colony Bank had denied his loan application that morning. Too high risk, they'd said, eyeing his missing arm with poorly concealed doubt. Marcus pulled out his datapad, scrolling through options he'd sworn he'd never consider. The advertisement glowed on the screen. Intergalactic Companionship Program. Find your perfect match across the stars. It was desperate. It was crazy, but the program came with a settlement grant for cross-species couples, enough to buy seeds, repair the irrigation system, maybe even rebuild the barn. He told himself it was just business, a transaction, nothing more. He filled out the form with mechanical precision, barely reading the questions. When it asked for preferences, he typed, "Someone who understands hard work." 3 weeks later, the transport shuttle touched down in his makeshift camp among the ruins. Zareth stepped off the ramp and Marcus felt his breath catch. She wasn't what he expected. She stood nearly 7 feet tall, her skin a deep cerulean blue that seemed to shimmer in Kepler's dual sunset. Forearms moved with liquid grace as she adjusted the pack on her shoulders. Her eyes, 3 of them arranged in a triangle on her face, fixed on him with an intensity that made him shift uncomfortably. "Marcus Chen." Her voice carried a melodic quality, though she spoke perfect standard English. "That's me." He extended his left hand, suddenly self-conscious about his missing right arm. Zareth's eyes traced his form, lingering on the empty sleeve, then moved to survey the burned landscape. Her expression remained unreadable. The profile did not mention the fire. "Recent development," Marcus said, his jaw tight. "Look, I know this isn't what you signed up for. The farm's gone. I've got the clothes on my back and a tent over there. If you want to get back on that shuttle and file for a program violation, I won't fight it." For a long moment, she said nothing. Then, one of her 4 hands reached into her pack and pulled out a small device. She tapped it several times, reading something on its display. "How much do you need?" she asked simply. "What? To rebuild?" "How much?" Marcus laughed bitterly. "More than I'll see in 5 years. Maybe 30,000 credits for basics. Triple that to do it right." Zareth tapped her device again. "I have transferred 90,000 credits to your account." The world seemed to tilt. "You what?" 90,000 should be sufficient for rebuilding and operational costs for 2 growing seasons, she said matter-of-factly, slipping the device back into her pack. "I assume you have plans?" Marcus stared at her, his mind reeling. "Who are you?" A faint smile crossed her alien features. "I am Zareth of House Morathos. On my world, I was, how do you say, an investment broker. I manage portfolios for the 17 families. Then what are you doing here? Why the marriage program?" Her 3 eyes dimmed slightly, and for the first time Marcus saw something vulnerable in her expression. "On Thoros Prime, females with 4 arms are considered less desirable. A genetic throwback. I was successful in business, but socially I was invisible. When I heard about human colony worlds, about how humans judge based on actions rather than genetics." She gestured at the ruins. "I wanted somewhere I could belong. The match profile said you understood hard work. I thought perhaps we could understand each other." Marcus looked at this alien woman, this person, who had just saved his dream without hesitation. Shame burned in his chest for having thought of this as merely transactional. "I lost my arm saving my unit," he said quietly. "Took a plasma blast meant for my corporal. After the war, everyone looked at me different. Like I was broken. The farm was supposed to prove I wasn't." Zareth's 4 hands moved in a gesture he didn't recognize but somehow understood as empathy. "Then we are both refugees from worlds that could not see our worth." "Yeah," Marcus said, managing a real smile for the first time in weeks. Yeah, I guess we are. She moved closer, surveying the land with a professional eye. The soil composition here is excellent. If we terrace the northern field and install atmospheric collectors for water, we could increase yield by 40%. I have been studying human agriculture. Marcus felt something unfamiliar warming in his chest. Hope, maybe, mixed with something else. You really want to stay? To build this with me? All three of Zareth's eyes focused on him. I did not travel 17 light years for a temporary arrangement, Marcus Chen. If you will have me, I intend to stay. He extended his left hand again, and this time she took it with one of her four. Her skin was warm despite its alien color. Partners, then he said. Partners, she agreed. As Kepler's twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting purple and gold across the scorched earth, Marcus Chen and Zareth of House Morathos began sketching plans in the dirt, not just for a farm, but for a future neither of them had dared hope for. The Vorthon raiders had taken everything he'd built. But in the ashes, something unexpected had taken root, something stronger than what came before. 6 months later, the Chen Morathos farm would become the most productive agricultural operation on Kepler 442b. But that night, sitting beside the ruins with an alien bride who saw him as more than his missing arm, Marcus realized he'd already found something more valuable than any harvest. He'd found home.